Hi friends, my name is Lillian and I currently work in product marketing in the tech industry and I'm also a content creator. And in this video, I'm going to share how I saved $100,000 by the time I turned 23 years old, the steps I took to get there, and tips for you guys to save your first $100,000. No, I did not come from a trust fund. Money was actually a really stressful thing for my family when I was growing up. I saw my parents go from paycheck to paycheck. There were times where we relied on government funds, so I knew from an early age that I never wanted to be stressed by money as an adult. When I was around 19 to 20 years old and discovered more about personal finance, I made it a goal to save $100,000 as quickly as possible. So it took around 4 years of hard work and dedication to hit this milestone. There are so many things people don't tell you when it comes to saving this much money at a young age, so I'm going to tell you 7 lessons I learned and how you can apply those to your own life. The first thing you should focus on, especially if you're young, is focus on building out your different skill sets and trying many different things. When I was in middle school and high school, I was really into art and sewing these stuffed animals or plushies, and I would sell them online on Etsy. I would make YouTube videos about it. I would knock on people's doors to sell them my crafts. So from this experience, I learned so many skills like how to use a camera, art, sewing, negotiating, sales skills, and from that young age, I started honing in on those skills. I didn't know it was a business at the time, but it really was helpful and instrumental in my career journey to what I'm doing now. The more skills you build, the more potential you have when it comes to your career prospects, as well as earning potential, which is a huge factor in how you save your first $100,000. Even though I'm no longer in school, I always find ways to keep learning new skills and upskilling my existing skills to make sure that I can increase the value that my skills can offer. Now, since we're talking about the value of your skills, this brings me to my second lesson of prioritizing practicality over a passion. This might come off to some people as doing something you hate, but it does not mean you have to work a job that you don't enjoy. The way that I think about it is to combine what you like doing with what you are good at. There is this Japanese concept called ikigai that I really like to follow, and basically it's the intersection of what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what we are good at. Ideally, you would have all 4 of those things to achieve ikigai, but even if you have a few of those things, it makes work a lot more bearable. The third lesson I learned is to use your unfair advantage, which basically means something that you are good at or something that you naturally have, like a talent. And I think no matter who you are or what your circumstances are, everyone has an unfair advantage of some sort. For example, if you're good at math, you can start tutoring other students about math and start a tutoring business that way. And let's say you are in a university that is well connected, you have the unfair advantage of contacting alumni at your university, asking them for coffee chats or informational interviews to grow your knowledge and to help you get into referrals for different jobs. The unfair advantages I used when I was growing up is that I really like art, so I'm good at making things aesthetic. I went to UC Berkeley, which is a top school, so it has a really broad network in the tech industry. And I grew up in the Bay Area, which has helped me learn more about these opportunities early on. But those are just a few examples of what I would consider my unfair advantages. And if you have any sort of circumstance or talent, definitely use them to your advantage. Okay, so the first 3 lessons were mostly about ways to use your skills and talents to get into a career that you love, you enjoy, and that has a higher income potential. But lesson number 4 is to actually educate yourself about how money works is really important, because a lot of times not many high school or college students go through an education where they are taught about money at an early age. It's really important to actually manage the money that you make from your career so you're able to save a substantial amount. Budgeting, there's this rule called the 50-30-20 rule, which 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, and 20% to savings, which is a general bucket for how a lot of people look when it comes to saving and budgeting their money. Stuff like what a high yield savings account is, which is basically a bank account that has a higher interest rate around 4 to 5% per month. And I actually put most of my cash savings in a high yield savings account, which helps me earn extra interest income on the savings that I just put in that account. Also, tracking your expenses. I've been doing this ever since I was in college. It's helped me a lot in managing how I spend my money and where my money goes, because even though a large portion of saving your first 100K is from your income, if if you don't know how to manage your money and limit some of the spending in your early days, it's really hard to save that amount. I would also look into how investing works because that's a way to grow your money. Something that I also focused on was my credit score. And speaking about good credit, Empower is sponsoring this portion of the video. Credit was something I paid close attention to as I was on my personal finance journey because your credit score is like your adult GPA. It affects your ability to rent an apartment, buy a car, get a mortgage, and even get a job. Good credit can also help lower interest rates on any loans you need to take out. For example, when I got my car last year, I got the lowest interest rate the dealer could offer me, which is around 3%. If I had slightly worse credit, my monthly payment would have been higher, which can add up to thousands of dollars throughout the lifetime of the loan. The thing is, with how the economy is doing lately, tons of consumers are struggling with maintaining a good credit score, with 40% of consumers having credit scores below 700. If you're starting out on your credit journey and looking for a way to build positive credit history, Empower is a great resource. Empower is a money management app built to make financial help accessible to everyone. They recently released the Empower Thrive line of credit, made for those who are beginning their credit journey or feel shut out of the credit system. Empower Thrive starts you with a $200 to $250 line of credit that can grow up to $1,000 with regular limit increases with your on-time payments. All credit scores are welcome for this product as Empower looks into your entire financial story rather than just your credit score. Unlike applying to a traditional credit card, Empower does not do any hard credit pulls. And with their flexible payment plans, they give you the best shot at making on-time payments and help give you the chance at building positive credit history. If you want to learn more, check out and apply to Thrive today with the link in my description. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment down below. Now, back to the video. The fifth lesson is to focus on increasing your income cap. There are two components to saving money. It's either increasing your income or decreasing your expenses. You can really only save as much as you make. So for example, if you make $3,000 a month, you can only ever save $3,000 even if you spend nothing on expenses. To increase your income, there are two main ways to do this. It's usually either through a pay bump at your job or through side hustles / other streams of income. And if you're in your early career like me, it's really hard to get a pay bump at your first job, so I've mostly done a lot of my savings through side hustles. So basically what I would do is I would only use my income from my job for my living expenses, and any of the money I made through my side hustles, I put all of them into my savings. I did a lot of side hustling things in college and many of them failed, so I tried things like reselling, starting a tutoring business, amongst other things that didn't really pick up until I started content creation. I started making content more seriously in my last year of college. I've been doing this throughout the last 2 years while holding a full-time job at the same time. I've built my content creation side hustle to the point where I can get sponsorships and UGC deals, and a lot of the income that I receive from that are usually 1099 or contract income, in which most of it goes into my savings. Even though building a side hustle or a side business can be a lot of hard work and sacrifices, I do think it's totally worth it if you're on the goal of saving your first 100K. And besides from the money itself, I think having a side hustle is a really great way to unplug from work and to do any of your hobbies or side passions that you want to do. The sixth lesson is to find creative ways to live below your means, because a lot of what comes to saving your first 100K is the difference between how much you make and how much you spend. I made a lot of sacrifices in order to speed up my savings. For example, I don't live in my own apartment after graduating. I actually chose to move back home after college. Even though I could technically afford an apartment, I did it so I can accelerate my savings and reach my financial goals faster. Living at home is just one example, and I know this is not feasible for everyone, and I totally get it, but usually transportation and housing are people's biggest expenses. So if you can find ways to decrease your expenses on that, even if it's just for 1 or 2 years, it can really help a lot with your savings. And don't get me wrong, when I say living below your means, I don't mean to deprive yourself. I'm personally not that big on frugal spending, but I really like to spend based on my values. So for example, there could be ways in which you can eat out less, cook at home, you can make cooking fun and do it with roommates or friends, and cashback sites while you're shopping are all creative ways to decrease your expenses without depriving yourself. Also, with social media and email marketing, it's really easy to see what other people have and feel that you are missing out. So if you are easily influenced by social media, I would say maybe take a little detox from that, unsubscribe from the marketing emails you receive in your inbox, because when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. The seventh and the last lesson is to learn how the tax code can work in your favor to help you save more money. This is something that a lot of people miss in their personal finances, but the government actually provides multiple incentives to help you save money and to lower your taxable income. So for example, if you have a job and your employer offers a 401k, which is a pre-tax retirement account, you can put pre-tax dollars into this account and it basically lowers your taxable income for that year, so you pay less taxes. Many employers also have a 401k match, so that if you put an amount into your 401k, the company would also contribute their money, which is basically like free money. And even though you technically cannot take out this money from your account until your retirement age, it still incentivizes you to save for retirement and can save you money on taxes. If you're not using a 401k, you can also use what is called a Roth IRA or backdoor Roth IRA if you have a high income. And for those accounts, you basically put after-tax dollars and invest those for retirement. Also, another great thing about having a side hustle is that if you make 1099 income from that, you're considered a sole proprietor, which is basically a small business, and you can do tax write-offs and small business deductions, which also help lower the taxes that you pay. Hopefully this was helpful. I outlined some things that I did on how to save your first 100K. So if you have any additional questions, drop them down below and I'll get back to you. Don't forget to subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!